Romance anime can be a very strange and frustrating genre. While I frequently find shows in it that I adore that has very cute, fun, interesting relationships with unique, well-written characters and settings and scenarios, there's something in it that I usually just find lacking. Frequently, the genre lacks closure in any real sense of the word, and even when you do get characters that finally end up in relationships, usually it's at the very, very end of the series, and you never really get to see much of that relationship in action. So much time instead dedicated to the two characters circling around each other, clearly obviously having feelings for each other near the beginning of the series, and never acting on them until the very end. It is so common and so very frustrating. And even with that frustration, there are still a bunch of rom-com anime that I absolutely love, and there's even anime that avoid this problem entirely, like Horimiya, where the characters get involved in a relationship fairly early in the series. And I was so surprised and happy that My Love Story was another one that just did not fall into this oh so common anime trap. My Love Story follows Takeo Goda, a first-year high school student who is absolutely massive. While nearly all male anime protagonists, especially romance male anime protagonists, all adhere to certain looks and body types and cultural expectations of beauty, Takeo is completely different. In other romance anime, you may get characters who are tall or maybe aren't the brightest, but Takeo is this really unique blend of super strong, super huge, not the most attractive, and incredibly dopey. He is not a clever man. But what he is an incredibly engaging character, and I can't wait to dive into that a little later on. But first, I want to just briefly explain what My Love Story is all about. So it follows Takeo as he's starting his first year of high school with his best friend Sunakawa, or Suna as Takeo always calls him. Now, the two of them have been friends for over 10 years. They've been together as long as they can remember. And from the outside, they are polar opposites. Takeo is very boisterous, athletic, silly, and not that popular with the ladies, as opposed to Sunakawa, who is the immediate focus of every woman around him's attention. He's handsome, smart, charismatic, and caring, but he himself does not see much value in dating or falling in love with other people. He finds it more to be a bother and has very high standards, as opposed to Takeo, who falls in love fairly frequently, or at least very strong attraction with a number of very cute and sweet seeming people, but almost always the object of his affection ends up confessing to Sunakawa, trying to date him instead, who he of course always turns down because he's not interested in them.
I like you.
I don't care.
Kayumi?
No thanks.
And Iriha?
No chance.
And Mao?
I hate you.
They always fell for Suna.
Then one day when Takeo and Sunakawa are on their way to school, they notice a train groper assaulting a woman nearby. Takeo immediately steps in, turning the groper into the police and creating a strong, lasting impression with the woman he's just saved, Rinko Yamato.
You were asking for it and you know it.
Easy.
Rinko is a beautiful, sweet, kind, and caring person who is an expert at baking a number of fine desserts. And she's so thankful for Takeo for helping step in to save her that she goes out of her way to find him and make him a cake. Takeo is immediately smitten by Rinko, but due to his years of getting looked past by every other person that he's ever been interested in, he assumes that this is going to be the same as any other time. But since the anime's name is My Love Story, I'll give you a little bit of a hint. It's not. No, in fact, one of the things that makes this anime so good is that it does not take very long for them to finally realize that they like each other and start dating. The series mainly focusing on their relationship and their own struggles in trying to maintain that relationship over going to school and dealing with life and family and all the things around you that take up all of your time, but throughout it all, having a strong, caring, and loving relationship. While also dealing with a number of stares and confusion, as Rinko is again half the size of Takeo and does not seem like that's her type at all, but there's one thing that she understands, and that's that Takeo is really, really cool. And let me just tell you, he's the coolest guy ever. Like, this is one of the coolest dudes in all of anime. I love him so much, and if I had a Mount Rushmore of anime himbos, he would be on there in the Teddy Roosevelt slot. And that's a coveted spot, I tell you, a coveted spot. And Rinko as well is an incredibly sweet, kind-hearted, innocent girl. These two characters are actually so perfect for each other, because they're both kinda dumb in a few ways, but it always adds to the calm part of this rom-com mixture. My Love Story is one of those rom-coms that perfectly hit on both the romance and the comedy in equal measure through and through. While I adore a whole bunch of other amazing rom-coms like Kaguya-sama Love is War, a lot of those series have more of one than the other. They're either more romance or they're more comedy. This feels like a great blending of both, where you get laughter and cute moments in equal measure throughout the series. One of the key ways they're able to do that is that the characters are actively in a relationship. They actively love and care for each other and tell each other that frequently. So you're able to have just straight romance moments without having to do the little dance of will they or won't they. They're doing it. They've been in a relationship the entire time. And that's so good. It's so good just to bite the bullet, just go for it, and just make them in a relationship. It's so easy to do that in this series and continue building the stakes of the stories that they have around them. Like, one of my favorite gags early on is that a lot of the other women Rinko's age do not see the appeal of Takeo as like a romantic partner. Like, I mean, obviously he's huge and has a bunch of muscles. The dude's built like an NFL lineman, but for a romantic partner, and one that she's been clearly fawning over, it just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. While all the boys that Takeo knows are obsessed with how cool he is, and Takeo is, again, the coolest dude. He is constantly going around town, saving children from falling in a river, saving lost cats from trees, just helping people all over the town, because he is a very giving person, and also he's absurdly strong and absurdly fast. And while our two leads are amazing, I don't want to leave out Sunakawa as well. This is one of the greatest side characters in rom-coms. He is the ultimate bro. It actually reminds me of one of my favorite scenes from Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun, where Nozaki, the main character, is playing a dating sim, and he falls in love not with the many women that he's supposed to date in the dating sim, but with the best friend character, Tomoda, because he's just such a good bro. He is always there for you. He needs love. Someone love this man.
So Tomoda, in return, I'm going to draw you your own story. That's right. Tomoda's our best friend. It's his turn to be happy.
And Sunakawa is right there as well. He plays a lot of the straight man role of being the guy having common sense in a lot of scenarios, but also you just can feel how much he genuinely cares about Takeo and their connection and just friendship that they've built over years and years and years. That's one of the things that makes this such a good show. There's so many people who just genuinely care for and love each other and express that in supporting each other throughout the show, throughout the many different stories. I also love that you get a lot of time with Takeo's family, especially his mom Yuriko, who I believe was a championship wrestler before she had Takeo. She is an incredibly kind and caring woman, and you can see where Takeo gets a lot of his ability to protect and help people around him. My Love Story also has a lot of great comedy moments that totally land because the animation is so well done and well directed. As you would expect for an anime created by Studio Madhouse, one of the most legendary anime studios in the industry. This is some real quality work by them, though not every episode has a lot of complex animation or ridiculous extravagant sakuga. This isn't like a Nichijou. It doesn't really rely on all that ridiculous nature too much, but it does have some of that lends perfectly well to the rest of its more goofy comedy. One of the things I would normally complain about is that this is a pretty conservative show in a few ways, and the way specifically that Takeo and Rinko do not really express a whole lot of physical affection or really have the ability to be intimate in that kind of way. They are emotionally intimate with each other. They tell each other a lot. They are always there for each other, but physically is a whole nother issue. It takes them a very long time for them to be able to understand how to hold hands. And that would normally be something that I roll my eyes at, but I find it more acceptable here because these two are just so innocent and so in love that they don't really know how to act like that. And it also leads to a number of good jokes and humor where you don't feel like the show is trying to portray this as what you have to do. It's just what these two characters are going to do because they're a little dopey, they're a little silly, and they can't quite get to that point where they can just kiss. The series makes me buy that, it makes me accept something like that because the characterization that it provides both our leads makes sense. They would act like that. They are those kind of silly, goofy weirdos, and it makes you love and endear you to them so much more. I love this series, and I'm so grateful that my community picked this series out for me to watch after I did a subathon and I asked people, what anime do you want me to cover? They chose this, and this is an excellent choice. It's so nice for me to be able to watch an anime that I always wanted to watch and that I always heard was great, and then to watch it and realize that yes, it is as good as everyone has been saying. I was a little skeptical a couple episodes in, like 2 episodes in, but by episode 3 and 4, I was totally invested in this show, and it was an amazing watch all the way through. It's something that I want to rewatch a few more times because I just had so much fun with it. So if you've heard people praise and praise and praise this series and you've been holding out, not knowing if you should really jump all the way in, let me be the one to tell you, I did. It was worth it. You should too. Because honestly, you give it a couple episodes, you will be fully invested. Maybe you give it 1 episode, you'll be fully invested. To be honest, there's a lot of really cool things in this. And you just love all these characters more and more as you go through. There is always new things that build on top of each other that just keep you going. And I wish there was another season, to be honest, because I know there's more story out there, but the ending you get to this season wraps up everything perfectly. It really has everything that it needs to be an exceptional series, and I just hope you go and give it a shot. And I also really just want to thank you for watching this video. It's been a lot of fun watching through this anime, talking about it, thinking about it, and yeah, so hope you have a great day, a great night, or whatever it is you're having. There may be a little bit of a break between this video and my next video because I'm going to take some time and write a bigger video here that I'm really excited about. So if you want to see that big video that is hint about Zoid's Chaotic Century, then please be sure to subscribe for that. And as I said before, and as I'll say again, I hope you're having a great day, a great night, or whatever it is you're having, and stay rad.